Perfect. So today we're going to go through the onboarding for beta. Again, in the chat, you can message your questions or until at the very end, then you can verbally ask them. So it's up to you for preference if you have questions as we go along. Okay, I'll proceed. So to be able to go through the onboarding process, we do need two different things. You're going to need your government ID. It could be a driver's license, passport, state ID, anything listed on the list that are the options, and then proof of address. It does need to be a credit card, recent credit card statement, or utility bill within the last 90 days. And that does need to include the following below with the statement date, the due date, and it does need to match your first and last name that's on your ID. So those are the things you need to do. It's easiest to already have an image already taken or a document saved on your device. That's pretty much the easiest way to do it, or you can choose to take a picture of it as you go along. Okay, here we go. This is the login or the sign up creation page. The first thing you're going to need to do is input your first and your last name as well as your email. You do not need to worry about putting a company or an organization or a referral ID. So those you do not need to worry about. And then you're going to need to put a password in, create your own. As it says below, it will light up when it has green when you fulfilled the requirements for the said password, which is really helpful. Then you're going to click submit. At this stage, you're going to need to verify your email. So it'll say you're going to need to check your email for the verification link, which looks just like this. So it says email verification for a no-mix registration, and you're going to need to click that link, and it'll redirect you to the onboarding page. Now, if you do not get to this email, please let us know, as this is a very important step. Now, at this stage, once you click the verification email link, this is where it will take you to. And if at this point you have already clicked your beta invite to verify your email and you just see this screen, but you did not complete the onboarding at this stage, you're going to need to go to onboarding pending, and you're going to need to click onboard, and you're going to input your email, and you're going to click submit. At that stage, you'll get another email that will tell you, there we go, the onboarding link has been sent to your email. And then you're going to have the onboarding link sent to your email to be able to complete your onboarding. So that's if you've already verified your email. That's the first step, as well as you got your beta invite. So now we're going to proceed with the onboarding process. First things first, we have the terms and conditions. You can choose to print these as you read through it, and then you click, you've read and agreed to these terms down here on the left-hand side, and then you're going to click next. Now, this stage is the KYC verification stage. As of right now, we are only doing KYC as a user. We're not doing as a business yet. That will be coming. When it is available, we will let you know. But for now, it'll just be registering as a user. So you're going to click register as a user, and then you're going to click next. And this will pop up. We're going to begin verifying. So we're going to click begin verifying. We're going to proceed with this whole process. So this time I only did everything on my desktop, so we'll go through that entire process, but you can change devices if you wish. So what country, you're going to input your country, you're going to click down the drop-down menu. For mine was the United States. Now we have all these different other options for your government ID, driver's license, passport, state ID, and continues on. I chose driver's license. And here I'm going to have the option of uploading a photo or continue on another device or take an image. So I, in this case, uploaded a photo. So I had just taken the picture of my front and back and saved it to my laptop. And then I had clicked submit for that. Now the next part, after you do your ID, you're gonna have to show show yourself that it's you. So you're gonna have to position yourself in the camera, and then you're gonna have to look slightly to the left, and then it'll fill in the little bar at the side so you can tell that you've completed that part, and then you're gonna have to look to the right. Now, if you have hair like me, you're gonna have to move it out of the way so you can show your face. And then it'll show that it's verifying at this last stage. So this is just to make sure that you are who you are, say you are, and matches your government ID. Now, the next stage is this little questionnaire that involves 5 different questions. That's for compliance. They're wanting to know your employment status. So you can indicate one of these options here, which is full-time, part-time, retired student, and so on. And then the next one is your industry or sector. And then I did take a picture of the first part of it. There's a longer list, but so you'll indicate one of those that describes your line of work. And then number 3 is your primary source of funds that you will be using on the platform. So this can be your salary, your wages, your savings, inheritance, a gift, anything like that indicated over here. And then you're going to also indicate how often you expect to transact. So that can be daily, weekly, monthly, or occasionally. And then the last one it wants to know is the estimate of the monthly transaction volume on the platform, which can be less than $1,000 up to more than 100,000. We are more in beta, so generally being a little smaller values, but this is a monthly transaction income, so it can be a large amount if you wish. Then you click all of what you indicated is true. You're going to check that little box, and you're going to go to the next page. Now this is where you're going to input your address. That has to match your proof of address. Now, with your government ID, if there was like a driver's license that already indicated that you had an address, it'll pre-fill in there, which then you can choose to change if it doesn't match the address that you're providing for your proof of address. So you'll change that if you need to, and then you click continue, and then you're going to upload or take a picture of your proof of address. And as we talked about before, it has to be a utility bill or a credit card bill indicated within the last 90 days. And then you're going to click next. This is it. That's it for KYC. It's going to process your documents, process everything that you've uploaded. And then it'll say you have completed your identity verification, which is very exciting. So at this stage, we have to, you can either choose to save your information with Persona, which is the provider that we use for collecting KYC, or you can choose to do the little click out button right here. Either one is up to you. So I indicated clicking the out of click button right there. And then you have to stay within this little pop-up per se, and you have to click next. Don't click out, you gotta click next. You click next, and then it says now your identity has been verified, which means you've filled out and completed everything required for this step. Does not mean it's approved quite yet. Compliance has to check first. And then you're gonna click next, and it'll proceed to the next step. Now, this is like the last step that we have to do, as indicated up here, but this is the wallet setup. So you're going to click Create Wallet. And then you're going to get a user recovery kit, which then you will save this to your device. Now, just so you understand, this wallet creation is where your KYC will be attached to. So once you get approved for your KYC, you've completed everything, then throughout the T7X ecosystem, anywhere they can then reference on the blockchain that, hey, they've completed their KYC, they are set up, we don't have to do it again anywhere in the ecosystem within T7X, and you're all set up, you don't have to do it again. So you're going to save this. The best idea would be to either print it or take a screenshot, up to you, but just so you have it. And then with this, you'll be saving a passkey. Now, each device is a little bit differently. You got to remember which device you are saving your passkey to. I have a fingerprint portion, so that's what this will be showing. I click continue, and then my fingerprint is saved. Now, I said that you need to remember which device this is on, because if you choose to use our Fiat onboarding via Fiat, you're going to need to use this to be able to approve your funds that are coming in. So that is why. Now I put my fingerprint on here and then click next, and it says the account has been activated, which means you've completed the entirety of the onboarding process. So technically there's only like 3 different separate steps that you have to do, but all are important to get to the end. So you can click Get Started, and it'll reroute you back to the login page, which I did not input here. And then from that point, you can log in. One thing to note that I forgot to make a mention of is if at this point you have done your, at this point, remember we've verified our email. This is going back into the beginning of the onboarding process. You put your email and your password in, you had to verify your email. If you did not finish the onboarding process, you cannot log in. You have to complete the entirety of the onboarding process to be able to sign in. So if you didn't finish, you have to go to onboard pending. But if you did finish the entire process, which we just did all together, that it says now that your account has been activated, then you can choose to log in right here. So we're going to go back to the end where you can log back in, and this is what it looks like within the platform. So at this stage, we've completed the entire onboarding process and we've chosen to log in, which we can now. Up here in the banner on the left-hand side, you can see that there's a little banner that pops up that says if you have already completed your identity verification, you got to wait for compliance to review. So at this stage, until this banner goes away, which you will get an email of when you have completed it, you can check around in the platform, but you can't do any transacting yet, as you have to be approved first. So when you are approved, we'll let you know that banner will go away and you'll get an email that says your account has been approved, which means then you can fund your account. You can move crypto in, which that's what's available at the moment to be able to do that, and you can trade. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few common questions and then we can open it up. A big one that we've had is funding your account. So in general, we were at the main dashboard at the beginning. We go over here to the wallet section. We have two different options. We have fund with fiat, and then we have funding your accounts with crypto. In other words, you can choose to send, I guess you would receive, be able to receive funds to your account. So in other words, you click on one of these for whatever allotted cryptocurrency you would like to fund, and you click receive, and then you get the QR code, which will then also provide you the address down here, which you can copy and paste. With crypto, we advise doing little bit amounts at the beginning just to make sure if you have never used that address before, to then do a little bit amount so you can see that it reflects into this receiving address. So for deposits, you click receive, and then if you want to withdraw, you can click send. You have to copy and paste the external address and the amount that you wish to send. So that's for the basic portion of funding your account with crypto. The funding with fiat, a few have gone through this process. I'm not going to go through this explicitly right this second because there's a little bit more that needs to be done, but those who have deposited funds via fiat, we've helped them through the rest of it. And once it's fully available for everybody else, we will show that, and we'll have the full instructions for that at this point. Another question that we've gotten, a lot of questions associated with depositing as well as withdrawing TSC. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So yes, with TSC, then you click receive. So how this works is I'm showing the Prosper link on the right-hand side where to get your addresses. So at the very bottom, now we have the EVM compatible address that is available within Prosper Link, which is wonderful because that is the address that you'll be using to interact with T7X. As we're the EVM compatible address rather than the TSC address. So with TSC, there's two different addresses that it populates, the TSC one and then the EVM compatible. Any funds that are coming into the T7X platform are using the EVM compatible one, as well as when you withdraw, you'll have to make sure you copy and paste that withdraw address. That's the EVM compatible one if you want to send them back to your TSC balance within ProsperLink. So this little spot down here, the wallet address, replaces the TSC address up here by clicking like the EVM compatible portion, which then you're going to copy and paste that for withdrawals. Anyway, so for deposits, you're going to click TSC on the T7X side. They're a separate T7X platform, TSC coin, and you're going to see the receive. You're going to copy and paste that address within ProsperLink. So again, for best to copy and paste these addresses back and forth. We don't want there to be mistakes, and I recommend doing smaller amounts to make sure that the path is more or less ensured, so you can make sure that it's going to the correct one. If you have questions, please reach out. But copy and paste the TSC address within T7X. As you can see, it starts with 0x, and then the EVM compatible one starts with 0x. We do not want to withdraw to your TSC address, as you can see there. So there's that portion.